So the security guard said you can't have bikes here, but people that have disabilities can bring their wheels. If you have a disability and you use this, I use this as my disability walker. It's because I don't have space in my apartment to have a walker, one of those bikes that you ride around the neighborhood and have a regular, it's too much, right? So one of those, I was gonna buy one of those bikes that the elderly use, but it's a electric one and it's really good for you. But you have to have a license to drive that one because you have to drive it on the street. So I got this one because you can ride this on the sidewalk. The security guards need to know that people with disabilities can they can make accommodations for people with disabilities. I'm a person with a disability. I have to maybe leave it out, maybe leave it on the side. Yeah, maybe it'll be better to leave it over there instead of the pool area. But even with that being said, I can walk. So that's why it's easy for me to do that. But there are people that have disabilities that want to work out and want to come to the pool and enjoy the pool. These are the people that don't have a voice. So it's important to tell the security guard that they can't, just because they have a wheelchair, they're not in a wheelchair, doesn't mean that they can't bring because you have to first find out if they have a disability or not. That's what I'm saying. You can't just tell people you can't do this because look, there's no sign. There's no sign. You see what I'm saying? You guys have to pay attention. There's no sign here that says you can't have a bike, you can't have all this. So you guys have to make sure that you do not make up your own rules. Okay? There's a reason why they did not put these signs. They didn't make a mistake. Before these apartment buildings were built, they had to go through a whole recession with the government. You have to go through the government. There has to be, they do searching. They search. They do a lot of different things, right? So it says no running or ball playing, no pets or glass inside. Persons under the age of 14 not allowed to use pool without an adult. Guests must be complied by a resident pool, spa. No trespassing. Violators will proceed. Please keep gate closed. See what I'm saying? So the security guard needs to know that he can't tell people that. If the manager didn't write that, there is a reason why they didn't write that. Okay? Because some people use their walkers. I use that as a disability. You have to get to know every person that you talk to. This is what I'm saying. You have to talk to the managers, you have to talk to the owners, and you have to discuss all these things with them. Okay? My job is to make sure nobody's human rights are being violated. Okay? So people without disabilities, of course they wouldn't bring a bike up here. They don't have a disability. Of course, I would bring one up here. I would bring a stroller here. Okay? So many, I got kicked out of Equinox for using my stroller because that was my walker. Because I carry a lot of things, because I can't keep going back and forth because of my disability. Okay? So, these are important things that security guards need to know. Make sure when you come to work for the company, you read all the signs. Make sure you read every sign. You understand what I'm saying? Please. Especially if they're paying you not that much. You know, some of you, I spoke to some people said they don't even have papers. You know, but if the company hires you, then they tell the government allows them to take care of you. You're working, or maybe it's a work visa, whatever it is. But what I'm telling you here is that you don't come here and complain about the pay, but you don't even have your papers. Okay? You're complaining, but you're not studying. You're not reading. You're taking pictures, but what are you taking pictures of? What are you taking pictures of? What are you doing all day? What are you doing all day? Right? Because it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. There's not much to clean. The cleaners have cleaned everything. Okay? Everything is clean. So make sure your job is not to harass. Make sure you know what you're talking about. When you go home, study the law, study the government, so you can know the difference. But when you come and you tell people things that you don't know what you're talking about, always ask questions. Okay? Because people that live here, they're not illegal immigrants here. Most people are citizens and got their papers. You have to have a social security or whatever. So make sure you know what you're talking about. Now, every security guard needs to wear a name tag. So I'm going to talk to the security guard downstairs and let him know about this, okay? Every security guard needs to wear a name tag. No walking around without a name tag. Remember, this is a business. We need to know everybody that is in this. If something happens to a tenant and we don't know the name, if it's a person with a disability and we don't know the name of the person, it's going to be a problem. It's a problem for the company. It's a problem for the company and it's a problem for you. How will you arrest them if they don't have their papers? How do you even take them to court without getting in trouble? If it's a business, then they have deals with the government, I'm pretty sure, or something. But you don't know. We don't know. I don't talk to them like that, so I don't know.